this?
Well, it looks like we're on the line, on the air, guys.
All right.
There are the chip counts in front of you right now, with Carlos in first, Matt Stout in second, and you can read the rest. Asher has 12.9 million. And rounding off the field is Gary with 3.3 million. Kind of a long shot, but he's still there for some reason. I saw Gary last night at about 5 a.m. priming for the event, so I'm sure he's ready and drunk by now. Well, there's Gary. He's usually pretty animated. He looks like he's got his...
I know that guy.
He's got his drunk stupor on now. He said he's going to try his best to embarrass himself. He was doing that a little bit yesterday, but he's still here.
I'm just trying to get on to the Twitch stuff right now. Do you
And
mind?
Steve's
Sorry.
one of the best Borgata favorites in this crowd. Steve was actually down to 2 big blinds. He got a triple up, pushing 8s into ace-10 in an unknown hand with 25 people left. And he was screaming in my ear that he is one of the best short stack players in the game. And he added a bunch of curses after he said it.
It's strong.
Gotta love Steve.
A lot of familiar faces, a lot of Borgata regs, East Coast pros at this final table.
Including Matt Stout with over 3 million in earnings.
Just 3 million? Is that all?
Well, that would be his live earnings.
A little about Matt Stout. He's the founder and president of the Charity Series of Poker, CSOP, for 1 year. He's been a professional poker player for 9 years. His previous occupation, he was a college student. He's a massive hockey fan and a New York Ranger fan. I know he'll be rooting for the Rangers today. Looks like we're getting right into the action here.
I had a funny Matt Stout story. We're in the parking lot, and he's got on a Rangers jersey. He takes it off because he's hot. He's got on a Rangers shirt. I go, bet if you take that off, you have a Rangers tattoo. And he pulls it up, and he's got a giant Rangers tattoo.
Good read,
Layers and layers.
He sure does. Matt's a big Ranger fan. He actually got engaged at the Garden. I had to set that up for him, and he was upset I couldn't get him a champagne bottle in. They wouldn't let bottles in, but he got engaged on the screen, and
That's awesome.
He had his day. True Ranger fan. I had to mention the tattoo to get him in.
You set that up for him? That's your true story?
Yeah, my wife was working with ABC with connection to the Garden, and I was able to talk to a bunch of people.
Awesome.
It's what I do.
Awesome.
Here's Gary contemplating. He contemplates a lot. Usually it's about what to drink, but at this point it's about his hand.
Just quickly while the action's started, we have Gary in the 1 seat with 3.3 million. The blinds are starting at 120, 240,000 with a 30,000 chip ante. And we have Steven Rodriguez in the 2 seat from Staten Island with 3.7 million in chips. We have Asher Conniff in the 3 seat from Brooklyn, New York with 12.9 million in chips. We have Matthew Stout in the 4 seat with 14.2 million in chips. We have Maxim Serebrinskiy from Brooklyn, New York at 7.3 million. And we have Carlos Alvarado in the 6th seat from Long Beach, New York with chip leader with 18.4 million in chips.
And Matt opens with the ace-5 of diamonds on Carlos with the ace-6 off. Carlos and Matt have played together quite a bit, considering that they don't usually play in the same circuits. We did a nice Dominican Republic tournament where they both made the final table. I believe Carlos bested him there. Carlos is a big hometown fan from Long Island.
Those are your stomping grounds, right, Cold Stone?
Yeah, I play a lot of basketball with Carlos, yeah, he doesn't play a lot of tournaments, but it just seems like this is his tournament each year.
Dude, if I'm going to just show up and win this, I'll only play this tournament each year.
Yeah, that's
just bank about
awesome.
200K, like retire, go fishing, golfing, show up next year, win it again.
I believe he did add 200,000 to his earnings this year, just in case, assuming he'd win.
Just in case this one didn't pan out?
No, assuming
Smart.
it would pan out.
It's pretty awesome that he won the event last year. And Gary Raina is making his 2nd live stream final table appearance. He finished 3rd in September's WPT $2 million event.
And he told me last night that coming to that event sober was the biggest mistake he's ever made in poker.
Seriously, he said that?
He did say that.
Wow.
He says he plays a lot better in calm.
When he's drinking?
Yeah, last night there was an animated hand where S-Rod, Steve Rodriguez, stood up and started screaming in his face. Really wild hand, and he ended up calling off nines against kings, and it kind of crippled him and hurt him to the spot he's in. And possibly one of the best hands last night was the last hand of the night where Carlos Alvarez called with ace-7 on a jack-queen-queen 7-8 board for a huge amount of his chips, and was right to bring us to this final table. Asher with the ace-9 of clubs. I'm sure he's going to at least call. Both players are very quiet. If you saw Carlos off the felt, you'd see a different person. Nothing's changed.
I like seeing some familiar faces make this final table. It's a very large field, and I recognize 4 of the 6 players, which is pretty cool. Got a couple friends at the table too, Asher Conniff and Matthew Stout.
We're going to be particularly harsh with them because they could take it.
Yes.
They'd expect nothing less.
Yeah, having 4 friends at the final table kind of makes it interesting when they're all twitting not to be mean to them today.
Yeah.
Carlos is a very good basketball player. We play basketball on weekends, and he wrote in his bio that's one of the funnest things he likes to do. Wow, thanks for mentioning me. I wasn't going to mention myself enough today, Carlos.
Asher Conniff is a former Borgata Poker champion with just under 180,000 in career tournament earnings.
Showing why he's got some earnings now, making a really good call with ace high here. Kind of a strange bluff by Carlos with king high, which has some showdown equity.
Did you check call the turn in the river?
I don't know, because I was listening to Cold Stone's basketball stories.
Oh.
No, it was
I think it checked through, right?
It checked to the turn.
Yeah.
Nice hand, Ash. Ash qualified for this event online at borgatapoker.com for, I believe, $60, which is a pretty decent parlay.
Decent ROI, just $60 to 50K plus.
50K minimum, which is nice.
For people who are watching the stream right now, there's a lot going on today on the Borgata Party Network. NJ Cop started 2 days ago. $1 million in guarantees over a wide range of events. And I believe tonight there's a $100 buy-in, 20K again. A couple other events too starting around now. I'll pull up the schedule for you guys after I break my cell phone.
The actions to Steve with an ace-5 of diamonds. Definitely an opening hand or a calling hand.
He has about 3.3 million at 240K. Oh, and he folds on the button there.
He is the short stack ninja, and that's probably why he played that hand that way.
I'm not good at math. I don't know how many big blinds 240 and 3.3 is, but a rough guess makes me lean toward shoving the ace-5 suited there on the button with, what is that, 13 bigs?
He just open
folded ace-5 suited on the button.
Yeah, that's
as the short stack.
You got to be piling there. You should be very happy to pile there.
Well, I would be very happy.
Steve is a short stack ninja. He did have 2 bigs when he finally took a shot, and it worked out for him. And there's different styles of play, but I think I would have to shove that hand too.
Yeah, we have the best 5.
Yeah. You might actually have gotten looked up by Stout there, unless Stout's been playing with Steve a lot yesterday. Then he'd probably muck his ace-deuce. How many blinds do you have? 12?
Matt doubled Steve's aces up with an ace-7
Yeah, he had like 13.5. He would have gotten through.
Yes.
And again, Matt did double him up when it was aces to ace-7 yesterday late. A little bio on Steve. He's male. He likes to drink and play poker. Who's the one person he'd want to be with for a day? Himself, because he loves himself.
Oh, okay.
And his favorite playing style is drunk. I had the good fortune once of staying out of a urinal that Steve was trying to push me in, but that's a story for a different time.
I have a feeling we're going to be in for lots of fun with you today,
Yeah.
Dr. Coldstone. Uncle Coldstone.
I'll take Doctor.
So
over
many
Uncle.
titles.
Asher Valley bets the river, and Matthew Stout folds.
And Steve feels good about the way he played his hand.
He actually didn't go to showdown, so he'll just never know.
Until
He's
he
probably
watches
thinking
this.
Ash had kings, and he was a genius.
It's how us type players get to sleep.
I just always call, and then I sleep well. I never have to worry about what people had.
I like that. Matt Stout also qualified online at BorgataPoker.com for $60, and he's looking to win his first Borgata Poker Open title. He is a native of New Jersey with just over $3 million in career earnings. Top boss Matt Stout.
And those are live earnings.
Yes.
Actions on Carlos with the 9-4 off.
I made the mistake of going to the movies with Stout the other night to see the Get Hard, the Will Ferrell comedy, and Matt Stout's laugh
Oh,
in a
boy.
comedy in a movie theater.
With Will Ferrell.
Everyone hated us.
Oh.
Matt Stout has one of the most 3 notable laughs in poker. Top 3.
The other two? I think I know one of them. Dwight Pilgrim, is he one of them?
Dwight is
Yeah.
one of them for sure.
Who's the third?
I'm going to let you guess for a little while.
I don't.
Asher opens 3s.
Can I give a hint?
If I can remember who it was, I will give you a hint.
I knew he was stalling. I was treats. It's funny.
Asher with his poker face.
Poker face.
Shout out to Asher's family watching the live stream. I was told his family and friends would be watching today.
Asher, one of the nicer guys in poker, definitely rooted for by most of the locals.
Matt Stout's going to 3-bet the small blind here with ace-6 off. He assumes Asher's going to be opening the button with a wide range, and he's going to take control of this pot.
Plus, Matt does overvalue a6. He plays it better than most.
He has the best 6.
And Asher's going to see a flop. Oh. Yes.
Yeah, he just calls.
I believe there are 2 and 3 in chips.
Could be fireworks now. The hoodie's up.
The hoodie is up.
And this is time for a big ICM disaster if either of these guys find a way to get it in.
I think if Asher gets it in, it's going to be with...
It's going to be with most of the 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt put himself in not a great spot with a weak ace where he's going to have to play out of position for a big pot now.
I assume this pot is going to go bet fold.
Yeah, just because of counterfeit outs.
Yes.
If I'm Ash, I just don't love my life right now. Even usually if you have a small pair, you're like, oh, a paired board seems okay. Like if it's like 7-7 deuce or something, you're like, my hand's still good. But in this spot, it just sucks.
Asher might also be thinking about the turn and the river bet right now.
They both have some pretty intense stares currently.
I'm Asher. I'd have trouble folding to the flop bet. I was gonna say I'd be really surprised if he just folded. You thought it was gonna go a bet fold.
I did. I play a bit with Ash online. I thought he was rather tight.
It's a pretty good call for Matt to continue on here with the nut flush draw. Asher says his hobbies are money making. Dad taught him as a kid how to play poker, and he always loved logic and judging people. His favorite poker player is Justin Liberto. Liberto, another hometown person. He likes making people happy, and his claim to fame is knowing David Inselberg personally. Wow. I think somebody wrote these
God,
things in.
everyone's buttering you up like you were gonna be the one who trashed people today. I feel like they really should have sucked up to me. I'm in one of those moods.
I will trash him. I will trash him if he doesn't jam his 3 high flush draw and the best hand right now. A very tough.
You want him to just get it in right now?
No, it's a very tough
Yeah.
position.
I think you should just jam 3 times pot.
What a beautiful card. I think at this point Ash is going to probably fold to
Yeah, it's
Matt's
just he
bet.
doesn't beat anything anymore, and this
So-
is Matt Stout's life, man. Seems okay to me.
Kind of a nice river. Matt's putting his composure together, hoping maybe Ash will bet, but that can't possibly be the case.
Yeah, I don't think he'd like a bet here. I think Stout's just like, hey, I hope I win this pot. You wouldn't like to be bet into by Ash right now.
I'm gonna check calling, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ash just thinks he
have
has
to.
the best hand, but he's gonna find out at the moment.
Yeah, he beats a lot on this run out.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna realize he lost.
like, oh,
he's gonna
cold
realize he lost on the river. He got stouted.
Yeah, I don't think that was the check back of a, I think I have the best hand. I think that was the, well, here's your pot, Matt Stout.
Well, he stopped holding his breath after Matt check, so maybe you're right.
Uh-oh, we lost our, there we go. Oh, hi, guys.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Us over here.
Well, howdy.
Welcome to our room at Borgata.
We're hanging out.
Yep.
Doesn't get
Couple
more
of
fun
pals.
than this. Yes.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Well, adios.
Mayweather-Pacquiao, let's see.
Big fight.
Oh, cool, they're not hosting it here, but they're playing it here? They're hosting that fight?
I do
What?
not think so.
No, they're not hosting that fight. They probably
Okay.
have a
No.
telecaster.
Can I see Twitch chat? Oh, I guess we're supposed to be responding to you Twitchers, too.
If
Now
you
we
guys have any
no
questions for
sound.
us or the action, you can go ahead and tweet directly at Borgata Poker or use the
Steve folding the blackjack 21. Steve's going to wait, and Steve's going to get his hand, and Steve's going to get by with it. Here comes Matt with another straight flush wheel draw.
Could look on Borgata on Twitter and figure it out.
And the actions to Carlos. He's been pretty quiet, but his
Oh,
cards
okay.
have been dictating.
I
But
love
he
how
should.
Kev Math is like the all-knowing being of everything poker and life. He just goes, MGM Grand is where the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight is actually taking place. He just
Thank
pops
you,
in chat to
Kevin.
let us know. Thank you, Kev Math, for always knowing everything.
Kevin is one of the people I follow that doesn't follow me. He is just a world of information.
He doesn't follow you. I think he follows about 90% of the poker world.
Apparently, we sat at a table together, and maybe he didn't like a hand I played. Just kidding, actually.
It's rather unfortunate to not have a Kev Math follow. It's like step one in poker Twitter.
Yep. What's step 2? Trolling?
Something like that.
Yeah.
The blind should still be at 120,000, 240 with a 30,000 ante. It's level 34.
I get the comment. That's the most comfy live stream setup I've ever seen.
Yeah,
we are. We're all
falling
like,
asleep.
we're just chilling on a couch.
Steve folds the queen 8. Steve's very comfortable in this spot. If he had more chips, he might be slightly nervous. Been playing with Steve for many years, and he always seems to get there. He never usually has a huge stack, but knows how to play the short stack.
Again, you guys, if you want to tweet any questions in, you could tweet directly at the Borgata Poker account at Borgata Poker, or you could tweet using the hashtag Borgata Poker Live, and we will be sure to answer any and all questions you guys have for us, the commentators, Alex Rocha, Jamie Kerstetter, and Uncle Coldstone,
And Matt picks
as
up
well
the
as
blinds.
anything about the players or the action.
Matt's by far the most experienced player in this position, and he is a very aggressive player, so it doesn't take too many starting hands to get him to open and start chewing up everybody's stacks with blinds.
And actually, Sean Walton on Twitter just commented on that. How much of an edge does Stout have with big final table experience? I'd say a huge edge. Just keeping your composure, finding some good spots. Like I think even a chip leader with the ace-6 off who doesn't have experience may just muck that and not try to go after the pot. But Matt's not very scared.
No, ace-6 would be in the upper part of his range. He just did it with a 9-jack suited, which is a premium hand too, unless you're a 3-bet very hard. Now we'll see if Matt wants to take over the table, and he folds the queen 4.
Got a tweet from Weenie Frank asking who the commentators are on the live stream. I am Alex Rocha.
Jamie Kerstetter.
And I am David Inselberg. Well, it's on Gary with the 8-2 off. He likes to play hands that could crack people.
Oh,
He's waited for it, and I don't think Steve's going to call with the ace-5 of spades, so it's kind of a good play.
10 big blinds. Steve should be very pumped to call here. It's a pretty easy call with 10 bigs. It is going to hurt. Is it putting Steve all in too? Basically putting Steve all in. That's what would make it a tough call.
I don't really think Steve could wait any longer when it's pushed from that position
But
by that player. He calls.
And he does make the call. That's very strange to me because he didn't shove the same hand from the button when he could have just gotten through, but he makes a call for basically his tournament life.
He has been watching Gary play for a day or two, and he did beat Gary kings to 9, so figured he's going to continue to beat him.
It's a good call. I just think the missed shove is kind of strange now.
This was the ace-5 he was waiting for.
Yes,
This
is the droid he's looking for.
He prefers spades over diamonds.
Yes, it's his favorite flavor of card.
You must understand the short stack mentality.
Nice job, bud.
Goodbye, Gary. You played well.
Good game, Gary.
Second time at the final table. He's not a big tournament player, and he seems to get through huge crowds.
I can't hear.
Payout should be $50,000 for a 6. Let me
$49,636 for 6th. Not a bad payday for a $560 buy-in. So just a little on just push folds. That was definitely one you could let go. Even knowing that Steve's a tight player and his range is going to be pretty narrow for calling, I do still think you need to have some hands that you'll fold in your 10 big blind range from the small blind. What do you think, Alex?
I would fold 8 deuce.
Yeah.
Enjoy the walk.
Yep.
Personally.
I could see shoving a much wider range than a Nash chart would tell you, just because you know that your big blind's a tight player, but I wouldn't include that hand in it.
You got Alan Kessler tweeting in saying, horrendous button fold with ace-5 of diamonds and 12 big blinds. Even I would ship there.
Wow, that's
strong.
Yeah.
I don't believe Alan would ship there either.
He would. He did. Cold Stone.
Cold Stone.
Steve is your friend. Steve is also my friend. I like him very much, but he needs to shove ace-5 suited there.
No, and I understand that. And I agreed with you when it happened.
I know.
But I still don't know if Alan would.
He would. Alan is not as tight as people think anymore. I think Alan's evolved a little bit. He's still a nit, but not to that extent.
Okay, these guys are all guaranteed 61,314 now, with fourth being 73,576, third being over 86,000, second being 131,970, and first place 203,000 and some change. So everybody just made about 12,000 on that bust.
Seth Zimmerman says he's spending his 70-degree day listening to us three awesome clowns.
Seth is the best.
I will take it.
I appreciate that, Seth.
Thanks, Seth. You play with him in the city, too. That's where I met him, right?
Yeah, or Parks, and Seth is very pale, and that's probably why he's not in the sun.
Got a couple of Jack-10 suiteds going to war here. We had Matt that opened the Jack-10 of hearts into the gun. There's now 3-bet by Maxim in the cutoff by the Jack-10 of spades.
And it doesn't look like Maxim wants to go away anymore.
They're sitting next to each other.
Matt's got 17 million behind, with Maxim having 6.3. Matt thinking, what goes on in that mind? What a smart player Matt is. And he calls. Not the worst flop for Matt. He's got a straight flush draw and a gut shot.
I don't see Matt Stout folding on this flop.
Yeah, a text from Brad that says we're doing a good job. Thank you, Brad Levine.
Maxim elects to check back, and they both turn a pair of 10s. I believe Matt is going to fire out a value bet here on the river, and the Maxim's going to call, and then be happy that no heart came on the turn of the river.
And so far you're half correct and fully correct. Perfect. Slow roll it, Matt. Nope, you're supposed to slow roll a chop on final tables.
That's how the boys do it in New York?
No, in New York we're a little bit quick about what we do. You never know the reaction or how quick security will get over.
It's the thing, if you're playing in a club game with no floor people, you might want to be nice to your opponents.
Yeah, you just flip that over and say nice hand, and hopefully nobody comes out shooting.
You know, funny tweet in from Joe Grassi. Do you guys get paid extra for working with Cold Stone? No, but we should.
I agree.
You guys are the funniest people in the world. I thought we were going to be nice, but the gloves are off.
That's the audience, man. You can't control what they send in.
You agreed. Oh, look, here's a tweet on Jamie saying, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I happen to be very happy about the two people I'm in the booth with.
Ditto.
It makes one of us.
That's okay, Jamie.
Just
Yeah, I
kidding,
would have
Cold
preferred
Stone.
Amanda
Keep
Musumeci
kidding.
personally. Sorry,
Oh,
Who'd you say?
Jamie.
he's an Amanda.
Yeah, she's pretty smart. She knows how to talk about poker well.
All right, well, I'll tag her in. Get over here, Amanda. Womp womp.
And Carlos still picking up monster hands, but he's electing to fold. And the jack 4 off. Steve-O with the 9-2, 5.7 million. He's got to be happy right now.
It's a good fold. I like that button fold by Stevie there with the 9 deuce off.
It is Asher in the small blind with the ace-6 that's been coming up every hand.
It's the small blind special. Let's see if we can play another massive pot with it for no reason. Oh, geez. So I kind of like it. So Asher just completed with a hand that's way stronger than Stout would expect him to have. You're expecting an ace to raise.
Yep, Asher was trying to induce the raise from the aggressive Matt and got it. Hopefully, somehow he could figure out it's not what he wanted.
I'm not sure what Asher's pre-flop strategy is going to be here. Blind versus blind against Matt. I don't know if he was inducing a raise necessarily. But
Well, the place to...
I think he was probably just disguising the strength of his hand and not trying to bloat a pot out of position versus the most skilled player at the table. Probably the only person who has him covered. I like the
and
limp.
he did go limp fold.
Yeah. Matt's raise was actually quite big. It was 240 to 840. If those stats were right, that's a pretty big raise.
This event is one re-entry, players. Just a reminder, one re-entry
And they're having a good time together, and I'm sure Matt just said you folded the worst hand. A lot of times when you limp the ace from the small blind, if an ace hits the flop, the big pretty much figures he could take it from you. So that might have been some of Asher's thinking.
So funny watching Carlos be quiet and not smile. I feel like 90% of his life he's just smiling and like bopping around the room.
Yeah, he's very quiet on the felt, and away from the felt, he's very boisterous. Steve, I don't want to show us his cards right now because he doesn't want to see he might be folding ace-jack.
Got a question here, Jamie, from Weenie Frank at King Deuce Suited. Would you say that Matt Stout knows how to close out a final table more than most pros from his online background? What do you think?
I definitely think he's put in the work. He works very hard at poker. He's played millions of hands online. Definitely helps to just kind of naturally know what to do in a lot of situations. And I do think he has a lot of experience putting pressure on players from his online background. I think he's got a really good chance of winning this.
Agreed. I would say that he is the odds-on favorite here.
I think Asher's got a chance too.
Yes.
I think Asher also...
For Matt's seat.
Yes, Matt definitely drew a really good seat, and that's something we didn't really talk about. You have a tight player on the button who's going to fold a lot of buttons that maybe other people would shove or raise. And so Ash and Stout are going to be left playing blind versus blind a lot, with Ash definitely in the worst position in that spot.
I think it went Steve open limp the cutoff here, and Asher has raised from the button to 650. We do not know Asher's holdings as of yet. Hopefully he can.
And Steve did have the ace-jack. He didn't want to show us.
Coldstone's got reads.
Once he decided to call, he showed the cards. Didn't want to see him fold ace-jack of hearts. And Ash has an ace-10, so he's in a bad spot here right now, card-wise. But can he get Steve to fold?
I would like to see Steve limp shove the ace-jack of hearts here. I believe he started the hand with around 20 2 bigs.
And there's no way Asher could have made that call with ace-10, so it would have worked well. When Steve gets good hands like this, he likes to try to maximize him, and it doesn't always work out. Like that time. Very well played by Asher, knowing that Steve is extremely passive. Yeah, I think Carlos clearly has the best seat on the table, being able to follow Asher and Matt's opens. Steve-O with 21 bigs and Maxim with 30 bigs. Still plenty of play left for everybody. I think Twitter just opened up live questions if anybody wants to ask them. There's a Borgata Poker spot. And Pierre Dessa, happy to hear from you too. Hope you're enjoying yourself today.
Nice guy. I heard he made a run at this tournament.
Yes, he did. He had a disappointing last hand, like usually it takes to knock a player like him out.
And anyone who's following on Twitch, it's www.twitch.tv/BorgataAC. You could watch the action live, and also I'm checking the message board as often as possible while still trying to follow the action here. So every once in a while, I'll be able to answer some questions. But the message board's kind of interesting because you guys can interact with each other at the same time.
And Kevin Math follows me, so I now am.
Wow.
Complete.
Wow, you made it.
We guilted him into it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Sorry, Kev Math.
I'll try not to send you any DMs. Carlos hasn't had a hand to play, and that's okay. He's got patience. He's got plenty of bigs, and he knows this is his event.
That's crazy. He has like 230K in live earnings, and 95% of them are from this event, and it's going to happen again. Like, this is nuts, man.
Don't think he hasn't been waiting all year for this event, talking about how he's just going to run through 2,500 people again. He's got a Long Beach hat on. He's from my hometown, Long Beach, New York. Hello.
Long Beach.
Hello to everybody out in Long Beach. We're representing in the poker tournament.
Just while there's a little lull in the action, some stuff that goes on at the Borgata Poker Room. Every Wednesday for 4 of a kind, you get $500 from noon to 8. So come here, make quads. It's not so hard to do, right?
No, it's
Just
easy.
4 of the same card, and you get $500. So fill this room. It's been, it's actually been hopping lately. I think with the nice weather, people are starting to come down the shore. The games have been picking up a lot lately.
They sure have. Even Matt's going to fold the 70s.
And the 7-5 fold from the button, I like that too. I think the days of opening 100% of buttons is kind of over, unless you're the dominating chip stack and you got a couple of nits in the blinds.
I don't know about those days. I just open up when I have good cards. Probably fold the button 90% of the time unraised to me, but I am a dinosaur.
Poor Cold Stone.
Or I'd like to be perceived that way.
At least I haven't called you Creepstone in a while.
I appreciate that, Jamie.
Yeah, it's no problem.
You have your boy Carlos from Long Beach raising up your friend Steve's big blind here.
Well, I
with the
think
8-6
everybody.
off.
I think everybody knows Steve's threshold, but Steve's going to have to play a hand pretty soon. Carlos, knowing Steve won't call without a pair, is pretty much playing his hand perfectly.
If I'm Steve, I'm calling here. The quick bet didn't look very believable to me. We're obviously seeing their cards, so it's easier to say that.
Yeah, if he bets quick like that, I'm usually putting him on like 8 of spades, 6 of diamonds.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But again, I don't know if Carlos would have bet into you two as he would Steve.
That's true. Because we're just so scary.
Well, you have the ability and you have spent money calling bad to stop
true.
people from bluffing. I used to talk about how much I spend in cash games to avoid being bluffed.
Yep.
It's a big hand for Carlos. picked up 600,000, just blind versus blind.
I have a tweet in from username at 5A52F18E9 1F84F3 saying to please wish at the Alex Rocha a very happy birthday and a successful year
It's
to
your
come.
birthday?
It was my birthday yesterday, so it's my
happy
birthday
birthday.
weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Turned 25.
Well, happy birthday, bud.
I turned 26 actually.
26.
Wow.
I know, I'm old.
Alex, you're gonna die soon.
Not as old as you guys, but
Yeah, you're saying how old you are. I almost punched you.
Right now, there's a prop bet being put together on how many Coronas Steve will drink at this final table. As Matt wakes up with aces and Maxim with a king-queen is not going to believe Matt has something. It's been nice playing with you, Maxim. You've played well up until now.
They're having the age-old hoodie debate. Like, do we want people wearing hoodies and hats and sunglasses and disguising themselves? And that's what Twitch is talking about right now.
I think it depends what you look like.
That's
As far as
Whether you should
disguising
cover your
yourself.
face or
Yes,
not.
Yes.
And Maxim does 3-bet to 1.2 like I said he would, and unfortunately, this should be the last hand for him in the tournament unless Matt just calls. I think people could wear hoodies if they are cold, and they could wear sunglasses if they're scared.
I mean, I think Maxim's going to fold to a 4-bet shove right here.
I think Maxim's going to. I think
He's got to fold. He's got 20. He started the hand of 24 bigs. Picked in a good spot. I mean, a good player to 3-bet, but not a good spot. Like, Matt hasn't really opened an early position. He's been playing a lot late.
Maxim's not folding king queen here.
He should.
They are 5-handed.
He should, but
So
the perception of Matt is what
Under
makes
the gun is the hijack.
I know.
the perception.
No, I'm saying out loud for myself. I thought under the gun. I'm saying that out loud.
Yeah.
Matt just called, trying to give Maxim a chance to hit one of his 2 cards.
And now it's good game. But I think if Matt 4-bet piles that Maxim has to fold, he just can't expect ever to be against Queen Jack or like King Jack.
Wow.
I don't believe.
Flop went check, and
I don't believe Maxim was folding this
That's
hand.
not cool.
No.
Maxim really
Drops
can't
him,
see him anymore.
drops him to about 20%. Matt, he's got counterfeit odds of the ace, and I'm sure Matt has no idea. He's trying to value bet and get the whole stack in 2 shots.
Post flop, Maxim put his hoodie up all the way over his face. We can only see his nose.
I mean,
his nose
Matt's
is twitching. Look at that twitch in his nose. It's showing he has a big hand. If Matt could see that nose, do you know what that nose looks like the end of?
I know.
What? Oh, cold stone.
Look at it with the shadow. It looks just like a baby's toe.
Oh my God.
River 4 for Stout.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Nailed it.
Alex Rocha, how do you do that?
It's Matt.
Day in the life.
And if you can do that, how come you're not richer?
He can only do it for others and not tell them. Like I said, it would be Maxim's
Wow.
last hand.
Stout's
and it
life is a good life, dude.
Oh man. Yeah, we can unzip the hoodie now.
Yeah.
That is rather unfortunate for Maxim here.
There was no way he was going to lose this hand. He felt he finally was playing a premium hand against the most aggressive player, and he wasn't going to lay it down pre-flop, I don't believe. Then he
I
hit
think
his
we'll
king.
probably have to fight over that one. I think it goes in the muck.
Well, you did see
What do
the
you do,
aces.
Alex?
I mean, I don't know their specific dynamic. How many big blinds? Oh,
He started the hand with about 24 bigs. I think when he 3-bets, how do you call a 4-bet shove? Like, what are you expecting to see?
It's just Matt Stout. He's racing any pair, and he figures Matt could do it with any 2 cards like Matt has. It just is. It's a bad spot when a player like Matt Stout has aces or kings, and you have a decent hand. Once he hits the king on the flop, not
Yeah,
even you
post
two.
flop, there's nothing he's going to do about it. He's going with his hand.
I think when he made the 3-bet, he was making the 3-bet saying, I believe Matt will try to play back at me at this final table.
Yeah, I kind of think that if you're going to call the 4-bet shove, you're better off not 3-betting. You're better off flatting.
True. Well, you know, again, his experience in tournaments, this is his biggest win, and I think he had about 10,000 in earnings before this tournament.
It's pretty sweet.
it's a
61K.
nice run. 5th place for 61,000 for Maxim Serebrinskiy.
It's a great run, and
Good
it's
game,
an
sir.
unfortunate hand. He was cooler than I don't know if any of the best pros can ever fold his hand.
I would not fold that river.
Or the
No.
I don't think you could fold it as played.
turn. No, so he played the hand perfect. Even though it's one of his first, or his first final table ever, he played as good as he could. Steve looking at suited cards, wishing the blinds were lower. Asher would suited connectors, so he's going to open into Big Matt. Did he try to limp again? I didn't see. He tried to limp, and Matt let him limp. I guess he has other plans. A continuation bet. Looks like it's about 325,000, and he wins a hand from Matt, and that's a celebration for him. Stop showing you at 7 high right now, Asher.
At High Roller Radio asks, I've never been to the Borgata. Is it easier or harder for Matt Stout to win because this event means so much to him?
Well, I mean, all events mean a lot to everybody. This is a pretty big event for him, but so is the main, and so is the 15K coming up. I think Matt's the type of poker player that every event he plays, and he plays as well as he can, whether it's a big event or a small event. I'm sure he's being a little more cautious now to try not to make any mistakes with his huge advantage